Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Wiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in 15 minutes or less to build your business. Today, our guest is Deb Brown. She is the author of the book Lifelong Loyal Clients. She works with business owners who want to build better relationships and never let an important contact slip through the cracks. Welcome, Deb. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine.
I love the work that you do that really builds relationships versus than just clients. So I'm super excited to talk to you today. To begin with, can you share a personal or business challenge that you had to overcome in order to achieve your level of success?
Well, I was thinking about that, and of course there are many, and there's always a new one as you work through your success and reach the next level. But I thought I would share a really basic one that has helped me since the very beginning, and that is setting boundaries on my time. I work from home. I'm a mom, and so I have kids coming and going and needing me, and it's so easy to let life derail you from your business goals. And even just things like you're at home and the laundry needs to be done, or the dishes, or you got to meal prep, or just all the household things. And so early in my business career, I really set some boundaries and said, okay, in the morning I'm a mom, and then I start my business day just like as if I were going away to an office like my husband does. And I'm in the office and I'm working and I take a lunch break. And if during lunch I wanted to fold some laundry, I can do that. But I don't allow myself to do the household tasks and get derailed. And so I think just being really strict with your schedule and your boundaries makes a huge difference in getting stuff done.
And so how do you do that with your kids? How do you get to keep your kids from interrupting you during work hours?
Right. Well, so I have an open door policy. I want them to always feel welcome because that's why I do what I do, is so that I can be nearby for them. But my kids are a little bit older now, wasn't so in the beginning. And so they're pretty self-sufficient, but they're always welcome to come in at the end of the school day and say hello to me. But they also know that I have certain hand motions I make, be quiet if I'm on the phone or something, so that they don't come in and start making noise. And they know how to respect that as well. And they know if it's a day off school, most likely I'm going to be here in the office. They can pop in and out, but that doesn't mean I'm going to drop everything and drive them to the friend's house every 5 minutes or, things like that too.
Right. And that's, especially with teenagers or, whenever they get older, it's like, take me here, take me there.
Right. Yeah.
So I love that you set the hours, and that's just it. So then you have your off hours, you have your on hours, which really helps you balance having a happy life with a happy business.
Yes. And I used to say in the beginning too, I would take my laptop downstairs and be sitting in the living room with the family after dinner, and I'd be constantly on my laptop. And now the laptop stays in the office too. So it does provide more balance. It's like, okay, dinner time and family time in the evening, even if we're just sitting around watching TV, but I rarely bring that work down with me, so I can be really present at those times too.
I love it. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And Deb, how can a business owner create the know, like, and trust factor with potential clients?
That's a great question. I like to say that, especially for solopreneurs and independent professionals, you are the celebrity in your business. And part of what attracts clients to you is just, quite frankly, you and your personality, who you are. And so the more you can share of that, who you are personally, the more that attracts them to you. It increases know, like, and trust. It increases customer intimacy. When they feel like they know you as a person, then they like you more, they trust you more, they're more likely to hire you. So, even just if it's in an email, you share something you did as a family, or you share a hobby or a book that you read, you can do a lot of that on social media. But I do it in snail mail too. I will send out mailings that reflect things that are important to me, and then that helps them get to know me better.
I love it. Thank you. And Deb, you speak about putting your wow in your client's experience. So how do you do this?
Yeah, well, so in the book that I wrote, Lifelong Loyal Clients, I outline my 3-step WOW process. And so WOW stands for welcome, ongoing outreach, and what's next. And with any business relationship, you can lead them through that process. You hear about first impressions mean so much, they matter so much. So that's your welcome, whether it is welcoming a prospect and making that first impression, or if they've known you for a while and now they've signed on to become a client, it's still a whole new welcome process because you're welcoming them in a different way into that work with you. Welcoming even a strategic partner through like a one-on-one conversation. There's a process to that too. So you want to have a really strong welcome because first impressions matter. And then so often people fall through the cracks just because of ongoing outreach. For prospects, sometimes you have to be doing outreach for them over years before they are ready to make a decision. For clients, sometimes they feel like they're not appreciated or you don't value them because you're doing the work, but you're not really reaching out to them in a more personal way or showing them your appreciation. And same thing with a referral partner. If you're not keeping in touch with them, they're not maybe remembering to give you referrals. So just making sure you have a system to have that ongoing outreach to all the different relationships in your business. And then what's next is just that you're always leading them to what's next. For a prospect, that's making a decision whether or not they want to work with you. For a client, it may be the next program, the next project, the next service that you can offer them, but always making sure there's a direction and leading them where you want them to go.
I love it. I love that you put all that into the wow.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of using wow as an acronym like that. I love it. So,
well, it's very intentional too.
Outreach and what's next.
Yes, and that's very intentional because to stand out, and you're all about visibility, you have to wow people. You have to do something different. So that wow is not only stands for those things, but it's very intentional about thinking about how are you wowing people.
I was thinking about a lot of people, whenever you was talking about the welcome, I was thinking a lot of people, they always start out their videos with, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and I've been a coach for 9 years, really 10 years now. Been a coach for 10 years, and I started out as a divorce coach, and by then they're just gone. And for some reason, just this vision popped into my head as you were speaking. I thought, how interesting, or what would you ever, seriously, walk up to somebody that you met at a party or conference and start with that sentence?
Yeah.
We never would. We just wouldn't.
No.
It's like, hi, and then you'd start asking them questions. Or
Right.
So that's so big, I think, with the welcome part of it online. Some people are just trying to introduce themselves versus a real warm welcome into my world.
Yes. Yeah. And capturing their attention so they want to stay and keep listening to your world.
Right. Deb, what is the power of reciprocity and how does it apply to small business owners?
Yes, absolutely. So reciprocity is a little bit like you've heard the term, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Or I guess it's probably you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours is the way it's usually said. And in that way, it's saying, I'm only going to do something for you if you do something for me first. The power of reciprocity is actually the opposite. It's like, I will do something for you, no strings attached. And then you naturally feel a little bit indebted to me and you want to do something back to me. So, for example, if you think about client gifting, if you're doing this just from the heart, just because you want to say thank you for being a client, then they take that in and feel like, wow, that was so nice. She did that for me. She appreciates me. And now maybe they want to share you as a referral to someone close to them. or they want to stay with you longer because they feel like, wow, she really gets me. I want to stay in that space. Same thing for referrals. If you're thanking someone for a referral, and you can't do any of these things with the intention of what are you going to get back, you have to do it really from a place of gratitude. But when you give, it just always comes back to you. And people want to give back to you because you're giving to them.
Yes. And I love that. And so many people do. They think, oh, I'm just going to start giving so people give back to me. And that ruins it right there if you have that attitude. It just has to be a loving, giving heart, wanting and expecting nothing from return. And I think this is a muscle some people may need to build up. Some people, I think, are more natural at it than others. But it's always give, 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 give. But while you're giving, it's definitely taking care of yourself. So that way you're not wanting or needing other people to take care of you.
Yes. I tell people it's a little bit like, they say animals can smell fear. They can sense that in you. Clients can sense if you're doing it for ulterior motives. They can feel the energy behind that, or whatever you want to call it, when you write a thank you note and at the end say, oh, and if you have any referrals for me, it just changes the whole feel of it. And so they can definitely feel ulterior motives. So you have to go in with a pure heart, just really wanting to give and do what's best for the other person. But it'll come back to you.
Exactly. And Deb, why should people connect everything they do to their brand, and how do they do this?
So your brand has a little bit of a personality, and for solo entrepreneurs and independent professionals, a lot of your brand, again, is you. It's who you are. And so when you can connect that personality to the things that you do in your business, and that doesn't necessarily mean branding it. If we go back to the example of client gifts, if you're just putting your logo on everything, it's not a gift anymore. It's a marketing piece.
Right.
And you care about that logo, but your clients or referral partners, the people who receive it, could care less about seeing your logo on something. Now, sometimes we have to do that because of laws and about gifting in certain industries. And so that's a way to get around it. But you can put a piece of your brand in there, even with something as simple as like a color. Or one of the things I do is sometimes I send out envelopes that are the color of my brand. It doesn't say my brand. I'm not, being big and branded and having, I don't even have note cards that have my logo on it or anything like that. But if something comes in an envelope with that distinct color, everything in the mailbox is white, and they're going, ooh, I know who uses this color. That's Deb. And so it connects that emotionally to me as well. And it might also be if you have a certain symbol or a like an animal or a flower that you use, or even just a phrase that you use in your business frequently. Those kinds of things can be used in gifting, in mailings, in ways to reach out and follow up with people, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your logo and branded.
Right. And that's so important because people need to realize they are their brand.
Yes.
And so whenever you consistently say the same things, use the same colors and everything, people start connecting that with them.
Yeah.
Like I have my hummingbird, and I know people, as soon as they see that hummingbird, they think of me.
Yes. Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm. So Deb, what are the 4 business relationships that have the potential to bring more money into your business?
Great question. In my book, Lifelong Loyal Clients, I actually devote a chapter to each one of these because they are so powerful. The first is prospects, and prospects have the power to bring more money to your business through sales conversions. And the more you follow up with people, the greater your sales conversions are, because they say most sales are made at the 5th or later contact, but most salespeople stop at 3. So following up with prospects, if you do more than 3, more than 5, you're going to increase your income. The next is clients, and that's through client retention. They say that the statistics tell us that 68% of clients who leave a business do it because they believe the business doesn't care about them. If you can be proactive in showing your clients that you care, you're going to make more money, partly because you don't have the upfront costs of marketing, onboarding, and all those things that it takes to get a new client, but also because they're paying you ongoing. And statistics tell us that clients spend more the longer they're with us. So they may invest a little at the beginning, but the longer they're with us, they're willing to spend more with us because they trust us more. They know what it's like to work with us. Then the third relationship in business is past clients. Former clients are a much easier sale than a new prospect because they've already worked with you. So if you can reactivate some of those clients and bring them back to work with you again in certain industries, if you're a web designer, they may need you again over and over again. The project may happen all at once, but in 2 years, they're going to need more work on the website. So keeping in touch with past clients then causes them to refer you often and to hire you again. And then the fourth relationship is referral partners. Some people call them centers of influence, strategic partners, but it's those people who have contact with your ideal clients and are able to refer them to you over and over again. And obviously the potential is in referrals because referrals, again, are easier than a cold prospect that just found you on the internet because they get that. Part of that know, like, and trust comes from the person that referred them to you. If they trust the person, then that trust automatically transfers to you and makes that an easier sale as well.
Right. And that's one of the things I even teach with visibility is borrow other people's visibility and influence. And you do that just by having them share you because they trust that person. And so therefore they're going to automatically trust anybody that's on there. I mean, this is how many stars has Oprah made from people that she's interviewed? And it's just because they trust Oprah, so they trust the people she interviews.
Exactly.
Yeah. And those are great for business relationships. And I really like the way that you worded them, a little bit different than what I was expecting or what I've heard of before whenever people talk about business relationships. And Deb, can you share a strategy that our listeners can implement in 15 minutes or less to build their business?
Yes. So my favorite strategy that is super quick to do and it's super powerful is to write a handwritten thank you note or even a handwritten note. It doesn't have to be thank you, but if you can do that every day, that's actually my goal is one a day. I've got one right here that I wrote today and actually send it in the snail mail. It might be, thank you for doing business with me. It might be to a prospect, thank you for the phone call and taking your time with me. It could be, thank you for the referral. It could just be a word of encouragement. But if you just take 15 minutes at the beginning of your day, write a quick note, put a stamp on it, stick it in the mail. People don't get enough good mail or love mail, as I like to call it, anymore. And it really stands out when they get something nice in the mail, and that makes you stand out.
Exactly. So even sending them in the mail, how do you get people to give you their physical addresses so you can even mail them something?
That is one of the most common questions I am asked. So the most direct way is when I'm on a phone call with someone or if I'm onboarding a new client, I just ask them, can I get your mailing address? And most of the time people are fine with that. If they question you, some people are afraid that people aren't going to want to give that out. I just say, I just like to have all contact information. And sometimes I send fun things in the mail and then they're like, okay, if it's someone you've known for a while and you never got that information and now you're like, I don't want it to be awkward. I want to surprise them with this. If it is another business owner and they send out an email newsletter, it is required by law that they put that mailing address at the bottom of those email newsletters. So that's one tricky way to kind of get in there. You can also sometimes look at a contact page on a website. If they have a website, that's often there. If you want to get really sneaky and it's not a business owner, there's 411.com where you can type in and sometimes you can find it that way. But often just the most direct way is just email them and say, hey, I've got something I wanted to shoot to you in the mail. Can you send me your mailing address? And most of the time when I ask for a snail mail address, they think it's email address because people just are not used to giving that out anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, just ask is really the easiest way.
Mm-hmm. And Deb, I know that you have a wonderful gift for our listeners. Can you share a little bit about it?
Yeah. So I have a PDF. I actually have a copy of it here. It's called 50 Friendly Follow-Up Ideas, and front and back, lots of fun ideas that you can implement quickly and easily. And it's all follow-up, whether you're following up with a prospect or you're trying to re-engage with a referral partner or a former client. These follow-up tips work for that. So nice way to get some fresh ideas on how to follow up with people.
And I absolutely love that. So to our listeners, you want to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Deb, lowercase DEB, bizsuccessin15.com/Deb, and grab your 50 friendly follow-up ideas. It's really simple. And if you start implementing those, even one a day, you can really start building the trust with your potential clients.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Deb, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Yes, I do. This is a quote from my book, Lifelong Loyal Clients. And I say it when I speak all the time too. If you don't remember them, they won't remember you. Oftentimes we reach out once and we sit back and wait and think it's their turn. But you have to be in the driver's seat and you have to take the time to remember people. And when you remember them, they are forced to remember you because you just did something that triggered that. And so now you become top of mind. So if you don't remember them, they won't remember you. That's my words of wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Very good. I love that quote. I absolutely love it. Deb, thank you so much for being my guest today. I've really, really enjoyed speaking with you. So much words of wisdom. And so it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Cindy, for having me. The pleasure has been all mine.
And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's show, feel free to share it with your friends. And you'll want to hop on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Deb. And you'll find all links from today's show, including a link to Deb's book. And you'll also be able to catch up on any past episodes that you might have missed. While you're there, be sure to grab your copy of 50 Friendly Follow-Up Ideas. Really simple, short little PDF that Deb shared us. So big hugs, and be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Biz Success in 15 with another fantastic guest. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.